Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 8, Week number 6, and we're taking on Curtis Smith, aka Curtis, coach of the Wisbech Town Weezings, and he has drafted a scary squad consisting of Alolan Vulpix, Shelter, Timber, Axew, Alolan Sandshrew, Togepi, Sewaddle, or Sewaddle, whatever you want to say. What's it called? Trubbish, Golett, and the Slugma, last but not least. Finish off his Firewater Grass Core there. He's got a nice, nice little team there. Really likes like setup options with Shelter, Timber, Axew, so on and so forth, with things like Aurora Veil and Hail options from Vulpix and Alolan Sandshrew, as well as having things like Golett and Slugma, Togepi, so on and so forth. Very scary squad, but like I always say, we have a very scary squad as well. We have Meowth, Diglett, Mankey, Badoo, Smoochum, Staryu, Larvesta, Azurill, Bonsly, and Corphish. However, this week we've decided to bring Meowth, Diglett, Mankey, Badoo, Staryu, and Larvesta. And we can go ahead and hop into the team builder and talk about it a little bit. Okay, so we've got Meowth here with the Life Orb item and the Technician ability with Fake Out, Feint, Return, and Knockoff. And we're afforded to run an Adamant Nature because we can still outpace the majority of his team. Actually, all of his team outside of potential Choice Scarf users, so on and so forth. And Return literally hits everything on his team. He doesn't have a switch in outside of the Golett, which gets hit super effectively, obviously, by the knockoff. And like it's not like ever a lot like. It's probably not the best option to switch in. So like normal spam, especially when that thing's gone, normal spam it's a go. Fake out, return, fake out into return, fake out into return. If you show the Choice Scarf user that's not the Golett, then I can fake out into Feint and potentially knock it out as well, and use knockoff to get rid of items. So I'm Adamant max attack too, and that's really nice. Life Orb Technician really boost fake out and Feint, so it should be should put in the work. Hopefully it does. Trying to get Meowth. The idea behind drafting Meowth in round 1 was because I wanted it to get the most kills in the league. Unfortunately, I've opted not unfortunately in terms of league success, but in terms of Meowth's knockout feint ratio. Almost said kill death, but yeah, knockout feint ratio, because Pokemon don't die in battle usually. And sorry about that. Sometimes I just get carried away. Let's go ahead and hop into Diglett. We've got Groundium Z, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Final Gambit, and the Stealth Rock with Arena Trap. Obviously, we can trap things, especially if they're weakened, and eliminate them, such as, and if they're not Choice Scarf, Alolan Vulpix, Shelter, Axew, maybe catch Togepi with a Groundium Z, or maybe catch the timber with a Groundium Z to make sure you get that big damage off. Got the Final Gambit there for things that can just straight up avoid being damaged too much by my 2 attacks that I have. And then this is my designated Stealth Rocker. I didn't want to bring Bonsly this match, and I was bringing Diglett anyway, and didn't really need a 4th move slot, so Stealth Rock just throws right on there really well. And I expect, if you bring something like, he doesn't really have too many like huge weaknesses to Diglett, so I don't expect him to prep with like Shed Shell or anything like that, or like a Air Balloon or Sugar Berry or anything like that. But yeah, that's going to be it for Diglett. Its speed tier is really nice in this matchup, a lot like Meowth, being able to outpace everything with an Adamant Nature in this matchup. So yeah, we can move on to Mankey and talk about it. And Mankey's going to be a Choice Scarf variant with a Defiant ability. I don't know, I don't actually remember off the top of my head if my opponent's got something that can trigger that. But yeah, nonetheless, packing it. I don't think anything else would have made sense anyway. Maybe what was the other one? Vital Spirit, maybe. I don't know if he's got anything to put me to sleep anyway, but maybe that. Anyways, we've got U-Turn to catch momentum. He does have a few switch-ins, such as the Golett, which is obviously immune to close combat. And then everything else actually gets hit at least neutral outside of Togepi, which is really awesome. I think maybe the Seawaddle, maybe. And maybe the Trubbish too. What typing is Trubbish anyway? Anyways, we've got the Ice Punch there for the Golett, and we've got the Poison Jab there for the Togepi, both of which can comfortably take close combat. And then this thing in the late game, if I can get rid of a lot of threats and keep this thing a little bit healthy so that Mach Punch or any kind of priority doesn't catch me off guard, I can clean up with close combat in the late game, which is super solid. And Mankey does what it does. Just grabs momentum, U-turns out into Diglett, U-turns out into Staryu or Meowth, lets me get huge Life Orb hits off versus, his team and stuff like that. So yeah, we can move on to Badoo now. With Badoo, we've got an Eviolite variant with the Natural Cure ability, so that I can come in, don't mind status too much. I said much, a little bit weird there, I believe, in my opinion. We've got the Giga Drain for basically a little bit of recovery. It does well versus the Golett, it does well versus the Shelter. Sludge Bomb hits the Axew, Togepi, the Seawaddle, Slugma, so on and so forth. And then the Extra Sensory is there for, let me make sure I'm right on this, I think the Trubbish. Extra Sensory is there for the Trubbish. And then we've got Synthesis for longevity. We are max defense, max SPDF with a defense boosting nature, attack minus attack nature as well, with 36 EVs in HP and 36 EVs in special attack. This thing is pretty scary. For my opponent, he doesn't have really outside of Alolan Vulpix and Alolan Sandshrew and the Slugma, he doesn't have ways to immediately threaten me. So Badoo's really nice in that sense, and I can always recover up with Synthesis, see what he wants to do, and maybe scout for damage, so on and so forth. And like I mentioned, it's just a really solid Pokemon in general. But because of its typing, its natural typing makes it really, really solid in the matchup. Because he doesn't, like I mentioned, he doesn't have things that straight up threaten me. So it's really nice. Anyways, we can move on to Staryu now. We have a Life Orb Analytic variant with Protect, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Rapid Spin. It kind of looks a little bit weird with Protect on here, but it's for a good cause in my opinion. It allows us to burn Aurora Veil and Hail turns, excuse me, and it allows me to scout, Protect allows me to scout, and potential Z-move users, I could click Protect instead of hard switching into my immediate check or counter, or if I don't have one, then Protect allows me one turn to maybe live like a Z-move or something like that. And like I mentioned, helps me burn turns of Aurora Veil and Hail, and I didn't really need any other coverage. Hydro Pump and Ice Beam hits this guy pretty hard outside of the Shelter, which the rest of my team deals with pretty comfortably with Choice Scarf, Mankey, Meowth, with having dual priority with Fake Out and Faint, and then Mankey being a Choice Scarf variant, and then it not being able to hit Staryu super effectively either. So that's pretty nice. I thought about an Eviolite variant, but I felt that was going to be better on like a potential Larvesta set or something. But that's going to be it, and we can move on to Larvesta. The Eviolite Larvesta that I mentioned, we have U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, and Morning Sun. Didn't really need, this thing's more of like a pivot, like a defensive pivot, come in, take a hit, U-Turn out, or Morning Sun up, then U-Turn out, depending. Flame Charge could potentially put me in a position to win late game versus something like Alolan Vulpix and Alolan Sandshrew, in the sense that something like he doesn't have a way to check me in the back or something like that. it could put in work like that. But it's mainly here to come in, take hits from Alolan Vulpix, take a hit from Alolan Sandshrew, take a hit from the Timber, whatever it may be, and morning sun up if I have to. If not, just U-turn out. A slow U-turn, mind you. U-turn out, take a hit, U-turn out, and then bring in something and catch momentum that way. Much like Mankey does here. Kind of got a turn momentum team here with Life Orb, Staryu, and Life Orb Meowth to come in and take advantage of that, and Diglett to eliminate threats with Trap and eliminate threats with my Arena Trap ability, and then put Mankey in a position to clean up late game with close combat. But yeah, that's going to be it for this part of the video, the team builder section, and we can move on to the replay. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and my opponent chooses to bring the Golett, the Sewaddle, Axew, Alolan Vulpix, Alolan Sandshrew, and the Togepi. So he doesn't bring the Timber, which is really nice to not see, actually. No Shelter, which is also nice to not see. But yeah, he does have his Hail, his Aurora Veil, and all that. The, what's it, Slush Rush or whatever it is, with the ice, you know, the speed doubling in Hail or whatever. Potential Stealth Rocks on the Golett. Does the Sewaddle get like sticky webs or anything like that? I'm not real sure on that. But yeah, for potential leads, he could lead off with the Alolan Vulpix. He could lead off with the Golett and try to get his rocks up. He could lead off with the Axew and try to get some big damage off immediately. But with all that being said, I felt like our best lead, was Larvesta, because like I mentioned, he doesn't have anything that immediately threatens Bidoof or Larvesta. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the team builder section actually, but I did mention it about Bidoof. He doesn't immediately threaten Larvesta either, outside of like coverage, like rock coverage or something like that. Anyways, I can just U-turn out here pretty comfortably as he goes for the Earthquake. It doesn't do half because of my investment, and I can go straight out into my Staryu, and I 100% live in Earthquake here, and I can knock him out with an Ice Beam if he's not Eviolite, but I 100% knock him out with Surf or Hydro Pump, even if he is Eviolite. So I do expect him to switch out into his Grass type. So I'm going to fire off the Ice Beam anyway, and it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off here. We're going to be able to pick up the 2-hit KO there, and yeah. Turn 3, I already got a threat down, and he goes straight into his Alolan Vulpix, and I'm going to click the Hydro Pump. I don't want to give this thing a chance to set up the Aurora Veil, and we're able to connect, and we land, connect, same thing, and knock that thing out. So not a bad start. In 4 turns, we've got 2 Pokemon down, but it's not over yet. So he brings in the Togepi, a little bit threatening here. And we're going to hard switch out into Bidoof. We do have the natural cure, so this Thunder Wave won't bother us too much. He does switch out into his Alolan Sandshrew as we double into our Larvesta. I felt Alolan Sandshrew would be his play if he switched, and this covered a Fairy type move. So yeah, not a bad play. Maybe not my best play, but not a bad play at all. And like Larvesta is not that useful in terms of offense at this point, and it doesn't really check anything from half health anyway. So getting this thing in, and I'm able to Morning Sun up as he goes into his Golett. However, I don't get as much recovery back because of the Hail, and he's able to click Earthquake again as I U-turn out. I get a critical hit. I don't think it matters because I go hard into my Mankey here, and he's forced out anyway, and would have died to an Ice Punch regardless. But yeah, I have to hard switch back out into my Bidoof as he throws off a Wish on this turn. So not sure what he's going to go for here. He goes hard out into his Alolan Sandshrew. I didn't know whether to Giga Drain there or to Sludge Bomb. Not a huge deal. I'm going to hard switch into Mankey here. The Hail is gone, so I will be able to outpace him here. But I'm just going to click Close Combat because he did have Togepi and Golett that he could switch into. Earlier in the match, I decided that I would not go into my Staryu because this thing could potentially be Choice Scarf, and I didn't want to get bought by it. But here, for some unknown reason, I U-turn out into my Staryu and do exactly what I didn't want to do. I was fearing Choice Scarf, and it ends up being Choice Scarf and everything. But I'm able to set up my Stealth Archer here knowing that he's locked into that. And on the following turn, I can just eliminate him with the Earthquake. Not a huge deal. And he brings in the Togepi here. I'm going to go for the Adamant Max Attack Tectonic Rage here, straight off the bat. Now he brings in his Alolan Sandshrew. We're going to sack off our Larvesta here, as he actually goes for the Icicle Spear, which we're going to live, but we won't live the second hit if we even outpace. I mean, even if he outpaces, we actually outpace him outside of the Hell, and we're going to have to double out into our Larvesta here and let this thing go down so that we can keep our Badoo alive, because it's important. More important than Larvesta is at this point, because I can clean up with close combat. He doesn't have a chance to Dragon Dance up with the Axew, and if he does Dragon Dance up, I'll 2-hit KO him, and if he doesn't Dragon Dance up and he attacks me, I can just Revenge Kill him with Diglett anyway. But he does decide to Swords Dance up, revealing his set. Reveals Protect. I'm not sure what that was there for. Maybe Fake Out from Meowth or something like that. But yeah, we're going to be able to bypass that and knock him out with the second close combat, and pick up a nice 4-0 victory in week 6. Week 6, yeah. And now we move on to week 7 versus, first of all, a good game to Curtis. Good luck in your last game. Hopefully I have good luck in my last. No, I'm kidding. I don't want any kind of luck in our last game. We're facing off against the Evansville Dew Waters, coached by AAA. So look forward to that coming out. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Let me know what you thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.